Today we will be physically opening the upper part of our body, the shoulders and the upper chest. We will very specifically be focusing on an Anusara yoga alignment principle called shoulder loop. And my hope is that at the end of this practice, your understanding of shoulder loop will have deepened. Underpinning our practice today, we will be looking at the philosophical idea that actually we are all already completely complete. So let me just unravel that statement a little bit before we begin the practice. In the scriptures which make up the philosophy that underpins this practice, they tell us that despite all our chasing for happiness in external phenomena, in relationships, in possessions, in perceptions that we try to put upon ourselves to enhance our self-constructed sense of I, that actually, despite all of that, we are all already completely and utterly complete. We don't need any of that. Very often my yoga teachers would say to me, the scriptures tell us that we're all already perfect. And whilst I liked that idea, I don't think I completely connected to it because I had too many perceptions from my own mind about what perfect meant or looked like. I personally connect a little bit better with this idea of being complete, that right now, in this exact moment, no matter what is going on in your life, no matter what worries you may have, actually you will have everything that you need to know what it is to be complete. Okay? So just let that seed of a thought drop, and then just see if we can continue to allow that seed to grow throughout the practice. Let's come to the front of the mat and we'll warm ourselves up with some vinyasas. So please stand with the feet hip width apart and parallel. To check that your feet are parallel, please line up the centre of your ankle with your second toe. So that's the one next to your big toe. And resting the arms by the sides, let's just bend the knees. And as you bend the knees, get a sense of your weight descending down into the earth. So making that connection with the earth, which is your support. And as you just bounce the knees very casually a few times and you get that sense of grounding, come to that remembrance that you are a manifestation within the universe and you deserve to be here. As much as the flowers, the trees, the animals, and all the other people, you deserve to be here and to claim your place in the universe. Now, keeping that sense of rooting to the earth, connecting to that remembrance of your own self-worth, spread the toes and now begin to draw the legs straight up from the feet up through to the hips. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms up and continue that feeling of stretching upwards. As the heart continues to rise, exhale and release the arms down to the sides. And let's just flow with the breath again. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, feeling the heart rise, spreading the fingers. And then exhale, keeping that lift right from the very bottom of the heart, but letting the shoulders and the arms relax down to the sides. One more time, inhale. Good, exhale. And then this time as you inhale, keep your connection to the earth, but now stretch tall. From the very base of the heart, stretch up. Take your gaze up and stretch from the bottom of the heart through to the fingertips. One more deep inhale. Good, and then exhale, release the arms to the sides. Keep lengthening the heart up, let the shoulders relax and pour the heart forwards as you come down. Uttanasana, fingertips to the floor. Let the head relax. Inhale, flowing with the breath, come halfway up, Exhale and bow in. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Ground the hands and step back, downward facing dog. With a little bend in the knees, glance forwards towards the hands and just check that your foundation is mindfully aligned. Fingers spreading in that remembrance that you deserve to be here just as much as the flowers and the plants and the birds in the sky. And then look back to your feet and spread the toes with the same remembrance. Good. And then pressing the head of the thigh bone back, begin to straighten the legs. And let the fullness of the breath enter the body and receive it with joy. And then inhale, lift the right leg. I have a wall behind me, so I need to bend the knee, but please lift it straight if you can and lead with the inner thigh. Good, looking forwards, exhale, big step through to lunge. Drop the left knee down. Inhale, sweep the arms up and from the bottom of the heart, stretch high to the heavens. Exhale, release the arms down, back through to downward facing dog. And then rock forwards into plank. Gaze steady, neck relaxed. Take a full breath. Exhale, slowly lower down. Release the toes. Very gentle, baby cobra. Sway a little side to side if that helps and feels good and begins to warm you up for the practice. And then exhale back through, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, leading with the inner thigh, leg straight if you can. And exhale, draw the lower belly back as you step the left foot through. Drop the right knee down and inhale from the heart, stretch high. Exhale, hands down. Step back through to plank. All the way down. Inhale into cobra. Again, taking a couple of extra breaths, swaying a little if that feels good, or just breathing into the tight areas. And downward facing dog on the exhale. Again, pause and connect in with the breath. By checking in with the breath, we allow the practice to move beyond just the physical. We allow it to drop that little bit deeper and allow that seed of the thought that you might already be complete to drop in a little bit deeper. Good, bending the knees. Exhale, step the right foot forwards. Step the left foot forwards. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And exhale, down through to the heart space. Drop your awareness into your heart space. And again, inhale, arms up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back. Downward facing dog and pause. So they say in the scriptures that our original state of being, our purest state of being, is this fullness, is this wanting for nothing. But this same force, this same consciousness, which knows its completeness, decides to contract itself to take the form that we are in at the moment, to take this human form as you. And in doing so, one of the forces which it uses to contract itself, one of the malas, is this forgetting of completeness. And the game is to remember once again, you already have everything you need to know completeness. Inhale, left leg rises. Exhale, step the left foot through. Drop the right knee down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, release the hands down. Step back to plank. Lower all the way down. Inhale, slowly, sweetly, up into these first cobras with a sense of respect for the lower back. Just breathing your way in. And downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg rises. Exhale, left leg through. Sorry, right leg through. Left knee drops. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands down. Step back to plank. Lower all the way down. Inhale, cobra. Downward facing dog. And breathe. And bend the knees. Left foot, right foot, Uttanasana. And inhale. Rise up. Exhale, hands through head. Drop into heart. And inhale, rise up. Exhale all the way down. Inhale halfway. This time exhale, step or lightly jump back. Plank or chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And exhale, downward facing. Once again, inhale, right leg lifts, leading with the inner thigh to keep the hips square. Exhale, step right leg through, come onto the fingertips, either side of the front foot. This time let's keep the back knee lifted and pause here for a moment. Forward facing lunge. If you're new to yoga, wiggle the back toes back because newbies always tend to go a little bit too close together. Just that slight fear of going to that place where it becomes a little bit unsteady. So take yourself to your own edge. Then again, spread the toes in remembrance of your own completeness. Hug the feet slightly isometrically towards each other as if they were stuck to the mat with super glue but you were trying to pull them closer together. And as you do that, lift through the inner left thigh, outer right hip draws back, and you feel the legs scissor and the pelvis becomes more stable. Do that with a sense of hugging into yourself. It's like giving yourself a giant hug. Now, with that remembrance that it's okay to love yourself, from the core of your pelvis without losing that stability, elongate through the legs. Exhale and get super long, right through to the back heel. Begin to lengthen the tailbone down, draw the lower belly up away from the front thigh, and keep that action as you inhale up. Lunge, back knee lifted this time. Soften down into the front leg, but now from the base of the heart again, lift up through to the fingertips, take the gaze up. Take another breath in, lift from the base of the heart. Good. And then exhale and open up, Virabhadrasana 2. Some quick basic alignment, heel of the front foot in line with the arch of the back foot. Back foot's turned in and at a very slight angle. If you can, this is a level 2 class, bring that right thigh down parallel with the earth. Good. Soften the shoulders and smile. Now interlace the fingers behind the back. When we do this action of shoulder loop, which takes the head of the thigh bone back and lifts through the inner edge of the armpit, we can often shorten the side body in doing that because we just think about drawing the shoulder blades down the back. So what I'd like you to do is pause and take a deep breath into the inner body, into the fullness, into the completeness of you. Now keep that feeling of fullness through the inner body, and now shrug the shoulders back onto that fullness so you feel the shoulder blades clearly on the back body. Keeping that, exhale, bow in, dive in, humble warrior. If the legs begin to ache, spread the toes more and hug into you, into the very centre of your being. Good work, one more breath. Then exhale, release the fingertips to the floor at about 2 o'clock, so just a little to your right. There's a tendency as we come onto the fingertips to let the hips shift forwards. So keep pressing back with the head of the thigh bones and just work a little bit more in the spiral on the back leg. So lift a little bit more from the inner thigh up towards the ceiling. Now as you press back with the thighs, walk the fingertips forward so the arms are in a downward facing dog position but on the fingertips. And this way you'll create more length to the sides of the torso, more space to breathe into the fullness of you. Good. Walk the hands back. And let's turn the right toes in just a little bit. Good. Now as you turn the right toes in, can you lift the ball of the left foot up off the mat? Spread the toes. You're just on the left heel now. Can you turn the toes round to the back end of your mat? As you do that, simultaneously bend the right knee as if going into a squat. Here. I just need to fiddle with my alignment. There. And if you feel stable, you can take your hands off the mat. Good. Now release. Come back through to forward facing lunge and then step back to plank. Good. Lower down to the earth and pause. Let's take for this cobra the arms forwards and to the side. So can you see my arms are about level with my head and my arms are fully stretched. And then I'm going to lengthen my left leg back, lengthen my right leg back and glue my toenails down to keep that length, which comes right from the tailbone, right from the pelvis. Now as I press my palms down, I'm going to lift again through the inner edge of the armpit. So I begin to feel the shoulder blades draw more firmly onto the back. Now I'm going to draw my hands in towards the body, keeping them at that angle, pressing the hands down. And again, I'm going to loop the shoulder blades onto the back. Good. Now I'm going to come up onto my fingertips so I can get an even clearer loop of energy. And as I do that, I'm going to come up, please stay where you are though, to give you a really clear idea where this loop of energy moves. So it moves to the very base of the heart. It lifts up. It comes right back through the upper palate, taking the head of the arm bone back with it, lifting the inner edge of the armpits. It's a great big wheel of energy that moves round and through like this. But we have to keep lengthening the tailbone back so we don't squash the kidneys. So staying on the fingertips, staying wide. I want you to feel into that loop of energy. And now claw the fingertips back as you begin to lift the heart. And it's that feeling again at the very base of the heart, moving forwards and then moving up. And that energy moves right up through to take the hyoid bone, the upper palate back, head of the arm bone back. And the shoulder blades come very, very clearly onto the back body. Good. Exhale, come down, keep lengthening the heart forwards even as you come down. Now ground the palms at either side of the breastbone, but same action. Find that shoulder loop action. Claw the hands back. Base of the heart forwards and up. That wave of energy continues to draw up until it reaches the upper palate. And then from the upper palate, it draws back, down. Good, taking the head of the arm bones with it. And then it loops again. Can you take the base of the heart forwards and up? Even just a tiny little bit more as you breathe. Big inhale into that space. Good. And then exhale, lower down. Push back. All fours. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left leg through into lunge. Come on to the fingertips. Pause. Take a breath. Hug into you. Extend back out into the universe. Shine as you. Inhale, tailbone lengthens down, arms rise up. Take the gaze up. Feel again that loop of energy that takes the heart forwards and then up and lift up all the way into the fingertips with the breath. Good. Exhale now. Virabhadrasana 2. Take a moment to align your foundation and then interlace the fingers behind the back. One up, one down, your non-habitual way of holding. And notice again, have you shortened the sides of the waistline? If you have, pause and breathe. Find the fullness again. Find the abundance within you again. Now onto that abundance, take the shoulder blades back. Take the hyoid bone back. Notice, do you feel even more full now in you? Now exhale and bow forwards to the inside of the left leg, arms overhead. Good, release the arms to about 10, 11 o'clock. Walk forwards onto the fingertips, arms straight if you've got the room. You keep the legs in your basic warrior stance. Press back with the thighs, walk forwards into the fingertips. If that left thigh is burning a little, me too, breathe with it. And then walk the fingertips back. Turn the left toes in a little and rock onto the heel of the right foot. I like to reline my feet here if I've lost it a little in the last few poses. Now as you revolve back onto the heel of the right foot, think squat with the left leg. Maybe you only make it halfway to the floor, or maybe you make it all the way in. And if you do, you can take your hands off the floor. I like to come to a little mudra with my fingertips just because it looks really fancy. No, and it feels nice too. And then release. Come back to your forward facing lunge. Good, back to downward facing dog. And breathe. Step the feet together and look forwards. As you root through the hands, bend the knees and just do a little pounce. 1, 2, 3. And on the next one, we're going to jump and think about lifting your hips up high. Perfect. Root down through the feet. Inhale, rise up. And exhale. Drop back down to the heart as the base of the heart lifts with joy. Let's inhale and sweep the arms up again. Let's keep the arms lifting. In fact, let's bring them down to the heart and then bring them to the hips. Step the feet hip width apart for a moment. Again, feet parallel. And as you look down towards your feet, notice how the head of your thigh bone moves back. Now I'd like you please to keep the head of the thigh bone back as you reaffirm tailbone down and lift back up with the heart and the gaze. Good, now inhale, from the heart, lift through to the fingertips. So keep rooting down with the tailbone for stability. Don't let the hips shift forwards and take your gaze up. Now as the base of the heart moves forwards and up, begin to lean back. Lean back with trust in the fullness of you. Trust that the universe has got your back. As if the universe is literally holding the back of your heart and allowing to rest on it. As you root once more through the tailbone, lift the base of the heart up and curl back to your absolute maximum. Good. Breathe, elongate, and exhale. Pour the heart forwards. Uttanasana. Inhale halfway. Exhale, step or jump back. Plank or chaturanga. Inhale up and through. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now as we're moving through some pretty strong poses fairly quickly, I thought I would be generous to you and we'll actually just repeat the last set of poses that we did, but we will add on. So the first couple of poses you've already done, so this time you can just drop that little bit deeper into them. You can find that little bit more space to breathe into. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale and step through. Lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms up from the base of the heart. Exhale, open up. Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, inner body bright. Interlace the fingers behind you. Shrug the shoulders back. Exhale, bow forwards. Again, pause and breathe. Release the hands and walk them forwards at an angle. As you press the thighs back and stretch the fingertips and the upper palate forwards, can you find a little bit more space somewhere in the inner body? And can you breathe into that? Good. Walk the hands in. Turn the right foot in just slightly and rock onto the heel of the left foot as you bend the right knee down towards the squat. So if you made it all the way down here, if you didn't, don't worry, just pause at that intermediate point and breathe. If you made it all the way down here, I would like you once again to hug into yourself. Remember your strength, and without using your hands, glide to the second side. Good, we're going to do that twice more. Glide back to the right and glide back to the left. Good. Glide back to the right and then hands again either side of the front foot, forward facing lunge. Drop the left knee down, both hands to the inside of the front foot and heel toe that right foot off just a little to the right and turn the right toes out. Now I'd like you to take that left knee just a couple of inches further back as we start to introduce a quad stretch into the left leg. Taking your attention back into the right foot, spread the toes and firm the leg. Now I'd like you to peel the inside edge, the big toe side edge of that right foot off the mat, as if you were opening a book. So the foot is not sickling, the leg is very much engaged and the whole right leg is very much engaged. Almost as if you were trying to pull that right foot back in towards the pelvis. Good. Now an option is to lift the left knee up at this point, or to make it a little bit more gentle, keep the left knee down. Whichever variation you choose, you're now going to walk the fingertips forwards. And the feeling you get with the fingertips is that you want to push them forward. Like if you're on ice, your fingertips would fall forwards. Do the opposite. From the fingertips, claw back into the heart. Good. Now, from the pelvis, get long through the back leg, get long through the fingertips, get long through the upper palate. One more breath. Good work. Exhale, drop the left knee down. Walk the hands in, but keep the right leg exactly where it is. Let's drop down to the left forearm and bring it in a slight angle. So it's actually almost mimicking the angle of the right leg. Then bend the left leg, sweep round with your right arm and find the inside edge of the foot. If you like to press back and curl back, go ahead and do that. Today I'm going to work more with pulling the heel in to the outside edge of my left buttock, so I can work more with a quad stretch, a thigh stretch. And then I lengthen the tailbone down towards the left knee. I'm doing that partly because I know we've got some back bends coming up later, and partly because I've been cycling a lot and my quads are super tight. Whichever variation you've gone for, I'd like you once again to just visualise that loop of energy that we call shoulder loop. And I'd like you to mould your body so that it best represents that loop of energy. So base of the heart forwards and up. Feel that lift up right through into the upper palate. Then as the upper palate draws back, you feel the head of the arm bones draw back. You feel the shoulder blades draw back. And you can just ride that wheel of energy round and round and round to curl all the way back with the breath. And then release. And ground the right foot. And step back to plank. Good. And lower down. And release the toes. And slowly into cobra. Just feeling your way in. Wiggling your way in. Breathing into the tight spots. Visualizing your body moving with that flow of energy that we happen to label shoulder loop. It's just a flow of energy through the body to optimally align you to the universal flow. And then exhale all the way back through. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left foot through, lunge. Good. Inhale, rise up, crescent. Exhale, open up, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, inner body bright, interlace the fingers behind the back, shoulder loop. Exhale, bow forwards and pause, giving strength to the front leg. And then release the hands, walk them forwards at an angle and breathe into you. And then walk the fingertips back. Come back through. Oh, sorry. I almost forgot your favourite one. I know it's your favourite. Turn the left toes in. Rock back onto the heel of the right foot and come into a squat through the left leg. And take the hands off the floor if you've got it. Pause where you need to pause. And if you've got the strength too, you'll need to tone the navel a little bit. That will help. Swing over to the right. And over to the left. And over to the right. And back over to the left. And all the way back through. Into lunge. Drop the right knee down. Heel toe the left foot out to the side. Hands to the inside edge of the foot. And then as you spread the toes, peel the inside edge of the left foot off of the mat here for a hip opener. Your choice, left knee down or left leg lifts. Walk the fingertips forwards. And breathe. And drop the right knee down. Come down onto the right forearm. Reach back with the left arm. Grab the back leg. And in a massive expression of opening to the possibility that you could possibly be utterly complete just in this moment, curl right back and lift the heart way up as you take the gaze back. Beautiful. Release the back leg down. Come back through to lunge. And then walk the fingertips around until the feet are parallel. Prasarita Padottanasana. Good. Start by bringing the fingertips forwards, pressing the thighs back. Hug the feet together and drive your upper inner thighs back and then broaden them apart as you now walk the hands in and bow all the way in. And then release. Walk the hands forwards and come round. Good. Step back to downward facing dog. And then drop down to the knees. Good. And release. So we're going to work just a little bit more strongly with this idea of retraction of the shoulder blades, of getting the head of the arm bones back and the shoulder blades onto the back body. And whilst everything is in balance because we're concentrating on this loop of energy, we're really, really going to draw them back for the purposes of today's class. So I'd like you please to get a very thick rolled up blanket, or if you've got a hard bolster that's not too big, you could use that too. Or you could alternatively use another yoga mat rolled up as well, and bring it about a third of the way down your mat. And then bend your knees and lie back over the bolster. So the very base of the bolster or the rolled up blanket or bit of sticky mat comes in line with the bottom of your shoulder blades and the base of your heart. An internal point that we've worked with quite a lot today. Now, if you back bend regularly, you should have enough length through the back of the neck to rest the head back on the floor comfortably. If you can't do that, then please grab a block or something similar to rest the head back on. And I would like us just to have a little look at back bend neck for a moment, because this is mimicking what it does. And although the head is moving backwards, we don't want to lift too quickly with the chin, which is what the tendency is. Notice if you do that, how it shortens the back of the throat. It's affecting my voice and my ability to breathe. Likewise, some people draw the chin in too much. It's less common, but it happens. And you can feel how the front of your throat hardens. There's more length through the back, but the front hardens. And again, my voice has changed. There's an optimum place where, in an extension of that shoulder loop, the upper palate lifts and curls back, and there's just enough lift through the back of the skull to keep a broadness on all four sides of the throat, and I can talk and breathe freely. So come there, and if that involves using a block, then that's fine. Now take your arms straight, fingertips towards the ceiling, spread the fingers as if you were holding a block between your hands. Good. And now what I'd like you to do is draw the right shoulder blade onto the back body. So you might even want to roll a little to the left to get that feeling of drawing back. Good. Now draw the left shoulder blade onto the back body. So you're creating a little bit of a shoulder loop here in this position. Now I want you to keep those shoulder blades firmly on the back and slowly take your arms overhead, thumbs towards floor. Now if the shoulders are tight, you'll find that some way on this journey, either the elbows bend or the shoulder blades wing off the back, or quite often a combination of both. Be honest with yourself, and when that happens, pause there. Okay, some of you may get towards the floor. Now when you find your maximum stretch, keep the shoulder blades on the back, but from the base of the heart, make your arms longer. And breathe. Good, inhale, arms up. And we'll do that one more time. Draw the shoulder blades back, one at a time. Keep the shoulder blades firmly on the back body. Slowly lower the arms down. Pause at your maximum, and then from the base of the heart, make the arms longer with the breath. Good, and inhale. Come up. Wiggle yourself forwards by pressing your forearms into the earth. You can rest your head on the bolster or blanket for a moment. Hug the knees in, take a breath. And then roll to the side and come up through to all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath hips. Come back to your foundation and come back to the philosophy that underpins the physical practice. Now hug your arms together a little to keep them straight, but recreate that same action. Draw the shoulder blades onto the back and soften the heart down towards the earth. Good, now press the hands into the mat and lift the back of the heart up. So what I'm not doing is just cat-cows. Actually my spine is neutral and I'm just doing like a shoulder blade press up. Soften the heart, root down, lift the back of the heart. Good, one more time. Soften, lift the back of the heart. Good, now step the left foot back, step the right foot back into plank, and we're going to do the same thing, a couple of shoulder blade press ups. So again, keep the arms strong, don't let the hips sag, but soften just the heart. Good, now root down, lift the back of the heart. Soften just the heart, and then lift the back of the heart. This time soften the heart and stay there, but try not to let the hips sag, so let the heart soften, arms strong, but let the inner organs glide back towards the back body. Good, now lengthen heels back, upper palate forward, one more breath, and then push back, downward facing dog. Even in downward facing dog now, visualize that loop of energy. So as you hug the arms together, even here feel the inner edge of the armpits lift, broaden a little. Feel the shoulder blades slide down the back, and then from the back of your heart, stretch the head of the thigh bones way, way back. Good. Take another 2 deep, deep breaths. And exhale. Drop down to the knees. So what you've probably been finding, if your body is made up like 99.9% of the population, is that it's fairly easy to keep that retraction while the arms are in front of you. But the higher that they come, the more difficult it is. The elbows bend and the shoulder blades swing off. So let's just really feel into that in this kneeling position. Bring the arms in front of you, spread the fingers as if you're pressing into a wall. And now, just like we did in all fours, retract the shoulder blades. Good, keep the shoulder blades firmly on the back body and begin to take the arms overhead. Just notice how far you can get until you lose that alignment. Good, lengthen the tailbone down a little bit, sides of the waistline back. And now from the back of the heart, press the palms towards the ceiling. Good, exhale and release. So as we move into pincha mayurasana prep in a moment, you'll feel how when we bring the arms to this position, and you can do this now in front of you, so elbows shoulder distance apart, hands shoulder distance apart. While you're here, it's fairly easy. But as we lift the elbows up, can you feel what wants to happen? The elbows want to go wider, the shoulder blades want to wing off the back. So that's the action that we're trying to resist against. And it's hard, you know, it's like resisting against that mala that tells us we're not complete, that we need this, that we need that. You have to swim upstream sometimes. So, one more reclining practice to really open the shoulders up before we go in for pincha mayurasana. Please grab 2 blocks, same size, place them one in front of each other, here like so, and then bend the knees and place the bottom block in the same spot that we've been looking at the base of the heart, at the bottom of the shoulder blades. Now remembering a good clear back bend neck, bring the head to the top block, take the arms up. In case you're falling over the place, I'll just give you a moment just to arrive there. And then again, draw the shoulder blades back. And you might even feel like the shoulder blades are hugging the block a little, which is great. Now bend the elbows, so slightly mimicking pincha mayurasana arms here, but the palms are facing towards each other. Take the elbows back and see if you can reach for the sides of that top block. See if you can hold it there. Good. Take a moment just to breathe into the heart. And for some, this might feel like a very strong opening. Now again, we're going to work with that retraction. So energetically draw from the elbow into the armpits. Can you feel how that slotted those shoulder blades? Good. Keep that. And now just visualize again that loop of energy moving through the base of the heart, lifting it up towards the ceiling, back towards the back of your mat. Good. And then drawing the shoulder blades down the back. Take another 2 breaths. And then exhale, release the arms. Good. Press the forearms or the hands down. Inhale, lift the head. And lift the body up. And then roll over onto your side. So let's start to work towards a little bit of pincha mayurasana. And let's just help ourselves one more time before we go into it with rowing upstream against that action of the elbows going wide. So again, use one of your blocks, place it in front of you. Bring your hands either side of it, palm face up. So you're pressing into the block with the side of your baby finger. Hands are spreading like this, okay? And you'll notice already as you come into all fours that the thumb wants to lift away from the earth, the back of the thumb. So work hard to press that down. And what you'll hopefully start to feel is that the upper arms, the triceps, are rolling away from each other. And just staying here for a moment is going to help really train the upper arms to roll outwards away from each other, which is what we want in pincha mayurasana. You can either stay here or you can take the knees back a little bit and drop the head down. Keep working to bring the back of the thumb to the floor. Feel how that invites the upper arms to roll away from each other. And then inhale and come back up. So at this point I would like to invite you to come to a wall. For this first round we're not going to kick up, but it's good to get the wall there to start getting our courage up. And then we'll keep with the block, but this time we'll slot the block in between the thumb and the index finger and spread the fingers like this. Again, elbow comes back as a direct extension back from the wrist and then directly up in line with the shoulders. Good. Tuck the toes under, please, and come to dolphin pose. Walk your dolphin in as far as feels comfortable and then pause. I would like you please to very, very deeply connect
with that remembrance of shoulder loop. So can you draw the shoulder blades further back onto the back body using all of those cues that we've worked with? Can you imagine that line of energy? Lifting the heart, which now is pushing it forwards towards your toes and then down towards the mat. Good. That retraction back from elbows into armpits to get the shoulder blades onto the back body. Good. Now root down through the forearms, keeping that, and lift the hips. Good. Walk the feet in another inch. Take another breath. And exhale. Good. And come down. We're going to pop the block to the side for the next one, and we're going to come to headstand prep. So we're going to interlace the fingers, but again the elbows come underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under and walk them in. So you'll feel here like maybe your forearms want to slip away from you. And I want you to re-engage shoulder loop so that doesn't happen. Shoulder blades on the back. Good. Shoulders really strong. Now press your forearms down and lift your hips. Good. And then drop the head down in between the hands. Shoulder blades on the back, root the forearms down, push back up. Good, we're going to do 4 more of those. Keeping the shoulder blades firmly on the back body, press the head down, push it back up. Rest the head down, push it back up. 2 more. Rest the head down, press it back up. Last one. Down and up and release. So if you're new to headstand, that's a really good drill to teach you how much arm strength you need to safely do headstand, because when we do headstand, we don't want to be resting on the head, we want that weight to be on the arms. And if you found that last drill challenging, go ahead and keep practicing that until you're really comfortable with it, and that will give you an idea that you're ready for headstand. Now, back to pincha. We'll do 2 more today, okay? Come back to the block if you like it. So if you're someone that elbows tend to just creep out, the block might help you here. If you're more advanced, you won't need the block. So come back one more time with the block. Good. Tuck the toes under and walk them in. Again, pause and connect with shoulder loop. Now take just the right leg up and again lead with the inner thigh, lower belly firm. Now bend the right knee and push the right foot towards the wall 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And release down and then lift the left leg up. Bend the knee. 1, 2, 3. And down. Now, for your final pincher, I'm going to give you some offerings, and I want you just to spend a few minutes playing around with what suits you. One might be to go back to the headstand prep and work there, strengthening the arms. Another might be to work where we were just then, but have a go at kicking up to the wall. So that will look a little more like this. And then when you're ready, come down. Or another fun option, only if you're very competent in all this preparatory stuff, is to get the 2 blocks. You bring the blocks about a third of the way down the mat, and then flip the mat back over. Might take a few attempts to get these just in quite the right place. And then I haven't got another block for my hands, so I'm just going to interlace my fingers for stability, but really play with this, use belts, blocks, whatever you like. But some people do just find that now with the feet on the blocks as I come into dolphin. And some people find that with the blocks, that little bit of extra height just gives you that extra oomph to lift up, to find the wall, or maybe even to find your balance. Okay? It's a little harder on the forearms like this actually, but less surface area. So I invite you to pause and have a play for as long as you like here, because we've really warmed up for this. So maybe today is the day that we find our balance. I'll have one more go at the wall, I think. And then come and rest in child's pose. And inhale, come up. We're going to move into some back bends now. Before we do that, I'd like us to just reaffirm that action of hugging midline. So let's grab one of our blocks and let's pop it between the upper inner thighs on the smaller setting. Good. And then come and rest back as if you were going to go into Setu Bandha here. What I'd actually like you to do is step the feet a little bit further forward so the feet remain parallel but they're in front of the knees. And if you've got weak upper inner thighs, even just doing that, it might give you a little bit of a wobble. But if you get that, hug the block harder. Now rock back onto the heels, root the forearms down and lift the hips up. Good, and hold it there. I want you to even feel as if you were trying to scrape the heels back towards you, but they were stuck down to the mat. Good. Can you roll the shoulder blades under a little bit more, lift the heart a little bit more, a slightly fuller expression of shoulder loop. And then exhale and release. Let the back soften for a moment, and then I want you to take the heels even further forwards. How low can you go? Play with it. Now again, root the heels down, isometrically pull them back, press the forearms down, inhale, lift the hips. This is going to be harder. Full expression of shoulder loop, squeeze that block. If it's shaking, let it shake and hold it there and breathe. And exhale and release. Take the block out of the way, come and lie on your back, interlace the thumbs, take the arms overhead, squeeze the inner thighs together, and then lengthen the tailbone down towards the heel and take a full deep breath. Belly, ribs, chest. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Good. Now grab your belt and make a loop with the belt, but a very, very small loop. We don't often make it this small, but a tiny little loop. And then if you're still next to a wall, make sure you've got plenty of room overhead. So I'm going to wiggle down. Now take the right leg up as if you were going to do Padangusthasana, but loop the belt around the ball of the foot. Here, like this. Now as you come here into preparatory work for Padangusthasana, spread the toes, and where that block was, squeeze the inner thighs towards each other. Good. And then even try and broaden the inner thighs apart a little bit. Good. you'll feel like that left leg wants to roll out, the toes want to turn out. So you're using that action of hugging into that imaginary block to keep the leg steady and the leg balanced. Now take the arms all the way overhead, so slide them down your belt so the arms are all the way overhead and pull your leg with it. You can then walk your hands up the belt a little if that's in your repertoire. So a very different sort of version of Padangusthasana. And what I find with this version is that I have to work a lot harder with hugging the midline and inner spiraling my upper inner thighs to create a broadening through the back of the pelvis, which are going to be key actions in our back bends today. So let's just work with that for a few more breaths. And then bend the right leg, take the belt off, go ahead and swap sides. Take your time, breathe your way in. Exhale and release. Good. One more time, come back to the block. If you feel like you need a break, bend the knees, root through the feet, lift the hips up and use the block to support the sacrum on the lower setting. Here. Take a restorative, but remember shoulder loop, remember back, bend, neck. If you'd like to work just a little bit more with hugging the midline and inner spiraling the legs before we push up into urdhva dhanurasana, if you can take that block onto a higher setting, although you can do this pose on the lower setting, and start here, setu bandha, feet on the floor. You'll probably already notice that tendency for the knees to want to spread apart, for the inner thighs to want to lift. So we can already do that work of hugging the imaginary block and taking the upper inner thighs down towards the floor and then broadening them apart. Then we maybe find we've got a bit more space for shoulder loop. Good. Now if you can, keep the left leg as it is, straighten the right leg out and come onto the right heel. You're going to have to do a lot of work inner spiraling that right leg and hugging the midline here. Lengthen the tailbone down towards the heel as you continue to add your finishing touches to shoulder loop at the other end of the body. Then bend the right leg, straighten the left. Now can you bring your right leg to join your left leg? And bend the right leg again. Bend the left leg again. Lift the hips up, inhale. Exhale, release the hips down, take the block out of the way. Final back bend. Repeat the restorative variation of that resting on the block, or place your hands either side of you. For the first one, I'd like you to just make your life a little bit easier by allowing your fingers to spread a little bit away. So normally the fingers come straight back towards, in a straight direction towards our shoulders. Just let them turn out just a little. And if you're not sure where they are, you'll see when you rest on top of your head. Tune into the foundation of your feet and set it up. Then lift the hips and pressing the hands down, lift up and onto the top of the head. Now this is a really great stopping station to just check in alignment of the feet, alignment of the hands. And like I said for this first one, let the hands turn out a little. Good. Hug the imaginary block with the upper inner thighs and strongly create an inner spiral and inner rotation. Now remember shoulder leap from the elbows, draw back into the armpits. Good. And from the back of the heart, root down through the hands and come up. Come onto the balls of the feet, walk them in, inner rotate the upper thighs, ground back down through the heels, push the heart forwards, take a breath, and exhale. Come down onto the back of the neck, down through the hips, rest, take a breath. Whew. If you've got one more of those left in you, we'll have a go, but this time we'll keep the fingertips pointing directly back, unless you really enjoyed that breathing room of turning them out. It's not great for the long-term health of the wrists to have them turning out, but a few times to get the height to get up isn't going to hurt. So set yourself up in a way that's appropriate for you, and then when you're ready, lift up onto the top of your head. Good. And align. Take your time to organise the bottom half of your body. Take your time to organise the top half of your body, and then root down to rise. And when you're ready, back of the neck and all the way down. You're welcome to stay up there for longer. Oh, my wrist and arm strength doesn't allow it, but you are very, very welcome to. Cross the right ankle over the left thigh and hug the left thigh in. Thread the needle. So one of the things our yoga practice teaches us, and it teaches me on almost a daily basis, is that we've got more to give than we think we have. You know, sometimes someone tells us at the beginning of a class, you're going to be doing urdhva dhanurasana with your arms straight. Say, no way. And then you prep yourself and you practice and you practice. And then one day it happens, go ahead and swap sides. And it's that same with that feeling of, you know, that we have now is like, well, I don't feel complete. That's okay. Acknowledge that and work with it. And if you work with it enough and you work with the scaffolding around that thought enough, and you keep doing the practice, then at some point, you know, we're going to start to connect with that feeling of fullness, that fullness of feeling of completeness. And that doesn't mean that you're going to look any different or have a different job or be a famous yoga teacher. It just means that you're going to have that feeling in yourself, deep within yourself. Exhale, release, hug both knees in. Hold the right knee with the right hand, the left knee with the left hand, and just circle the knees. And I'm working on this stuff too. But the yoga's definitely helping. If nothing else, it just reminds me, you know, when those thoughts of jealousy come up, or those thoughts of if I just had this come up, I can just go back to the scriptures and I can just remember, oh yeah, that's just the mala contracting me. And I find it really helpful. Let's go back to Kadangusthasana. So straighten the left leg, but this time just hold behind the right thigh and hold low on the thigh towards the groin, and work more with pressing the back of the right thigh into the hand to create length through the lower back. Let the shoulders soften and let the breath be full now.
then bend the right leg. Bring it into a half happy baby. And then release the right leg down. Take the left leg up and hold behind the left thigh. And press the base of the left thigh into the hands away from you. See how much space that gives you through the lower back. And into a half happy baby. And then into a full happy baby. Just rocking gently side to side. And as you do that, try and elongate your spine, allowing your sit bones to come closer to the earth. So you're massaging right on the sacrum. And then continuing to hold the hands, I want you to imagine like you're riding a bicycle. So take the right leg up a little back and down, and then the left leg up a little back and down. And just play with it. And don't worry too much about alignment, just feel free, feel like a little baby. Just playing with your feet, playing with your legs, seeing how it all feels. And then take the knees in. Roll to the side, push yourself up through to seated. We're going to come to cross legs and take your block again. And we're going to place the block very carefully so it rests against the inner edge of the shin of the leg that's closest to you. And then the bottom part of the block comes right down to your pelvis. So let me go through that again just to be a little bit more specific. The legs are in swastikasana, so rather than an easy cross leg, it won't work. The shins are more parallel with the front of the mat, toes spreading. And then the block comes in at an angle. So it rests on the shin, and then it comes right down, right where the groins are. So it gives us something to lift our lower belly up and over as we now bow forwards. And that's going to translate, hopefully you'll feel, into space through the back body, especially as you pin back down through the sit bones. If you hate the block, you can just take it out. It's just a way of getting a little bit more space in there. Walk the hands in, inhale, come up, and then twist round to the right. Inhale back to centre, change the cross of the legs, and again slot that block in. Lift the lower belly up and over the block as you bow in. And then walk the hands in and twist round to the left.
Inhale back to centre. Take the block out of the way. One more time on your back. Full body stretch. Interlace the thumbs. Squeeze the upper inner thighs together. Lengthen the tailbone down to the heels. Big breath in. Belly, ribs, chest. Sigh it out. And come into Shavasana.